let's be honest, lenses are expensive, they're an investment, and you can start spending from anywhere like $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000. The list goes up. Lenses are the #1 thing. You need the glass. You gotta have the glass to make really good content. Well, not really, it's on the hands and the head and the content and the ideas, but you get what I mean. In that regard, if you want a lens that's less than $500, a lens that gives you sharp, tact focus, autofocus lens, well, guess what? An autofocus lens. That doesn't make any sense. If you want a lens that gives you all those things, then buy the Canon 50mm 1.4 today. Boom. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the 3 reasons why I chose this lens and why I love using it. Let's backstory. I shot weddings for about 2 to 3 years. It was like 3 to 4 years ago. Then I wanted to pursue something else, so I did that. I sold all my gear. I loved the photography company that I worked for at the time. Okay, that stuff was awesome. I loved it. Now, after making all the YouTube videos that I've been making on my channel, I realized, dang, I love photography. I love content creating. I love all of it. Gotta get back into it. I bought some lenses and I bought some bodies and I just went for it. And I regret not buying this 50mm lens right off the bat. If you want all the things I mentioned at the beginning of this video, along with the Canon's color science, dude, and you're spending like $300, the 1.4 is where it's at. Everyone tells you, you gotta get a 50mm lens. You gotta get a nifty 50, that's what they call it. You get a nifty 50, you get it for about $100, and that lens is what the eye sees. You're gonna get that kind of quality in your image. 50mm is like a 1.8. I mean, dynamic range, hit or miss. 1.2 from Canon is like $1,300 and it's considered a red lens. But dang, you're gonna get that creamy bokeh goodness in the back. It's gonna be blurred out. Your portraits are gonna be on fire. Your landscapes are gonna be on fire, and everything in between is gonna be on fire. 1.2, I found that it's kind of hit or miss. The autofocus is kind of, it just depends like on what you're doing. So you really have to be, trained and skilled in what you're doing with the 1.2. But the 1.4, like the portrait, landscape, and everything in between, this thing is pure money. It is pure awesomeness. Creamy bokeh goodness in the background, it's blurred. This is the lens. If you want portrait lens that's gonna be good and gonna back you up with all your photos and all your content creation, this is the lens. If you're out shooting in Alaska, if you're out shooting in Yosemite, your backyard, and you want everything to be in focus, this is the lens you need. And what I love about it is, and I made a video about it on the Mark II not too long ago in my vlogs, but I was using 50mm, and I was saying in that video, I love it so much because it forces you to actually get a different perspective when you're shooting. It's a prime lens, so which means it doesn't zoom. It has this ring here to manually focus, and there's an actual knob, an auto, manual, auto, manual. It forces you to actually, if you don't have everything in the shot, you have to kind of come back, reposition yourself, and realign your vision for your actual image. Love that about this lens. Think outside the box, be a little more creative with how you're approaching your shots and what you're actually doing. So I covered that in my other video, go watch it, it's pretty awesome. I purchased this lens at my local Best Buy like 3 months ago, and I said I should have bought this lens right off the bat just because it gives you the tact sharpness, the blurry background bokeh that everybody loves, and it's cheap. You're not gonna break the bank. We all know, like I said, lenses are investments. Like, you can easily spend $2,000 and still not have the right lens, and then you're like lusting over different lenses that you can't afford, and it just leaves you unhappy. But, and I've been there myself multiple times, like all the time, just because lenses are so expensive and they're just so good and you gotta have them all. Like Pokemon. I've never played Pokemon, but I know you gotta have them all, right? Same with lenses. But with this specific lens, I could go out there, shoot anything in the world, and use this lens and be happy. I know I'm gonna get a good shot. I know I'm gonna get the tact sharpness from this. The ultrasonic motor is so freaking fast. Like, I have yet to actually shoot a shot, take a picture, and not be able to be in focus just because the ultrasonic motor in this thing is super fast. Like, I can't render a bad photo, and that's not to brag, but it's just, that's how fast it is. It focuses, it gets right on the money, and it serves you. You don't have to fight with it, you don't have to hunt. I mean, you're there. and that's why I love it. And it's, like I said, cheap. The build quality overall is not, I mean, the 1.8 is pretty cheap, and it feels cheap. This doesn't feel as cheap, but you know it's still made out of plastic. I think this is a metal mount on the end here. But something like the 1.2, you're getting a freaking grenade. Like, you hold that thing and that thing is nice, that thing is heavy, that thing is 1,300 bucks. This is like 300 bucks. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. It's a good size, it fits in your hand, and you know it's not gonna break when you drop it, like a 1.8 would, and it has happened to me. I hate it. Shooting out with this lens really is just amazing, and if you really are looking to spend a little bit of money and again, make that investment in lenses, please go try this 50mm 1.4. If you have 1.8, that's awesome, and that's a thing. Like, everybody tells us you gotta have 50 nifty, and we put it on the side and we leave it there. We never take it out of the bag because everyone says you gotta get it, so you get it, and it's just there. You know, it's a staple, so you have to have it. And now that you have it, you're like, I don't really like the quality, I don't really know. It's not what I wanted, so it's just gonna be there. It was 100 bucks, you know. In my opinion, I tend to take better care of things that cost more. Maybe I'm just the only one, but this is 400 bucks. I'm gonna use this lens, and I'm gonna know every single time I take a shot or take a photo or take it out, put it on my camera, it's gonna render and yield quality photos every single time. It's not just gonna sit in my bag like a 1.8 or on my shelf like a 1.8 would. I'm gonna take it with me. Portrait, landscape, and everything in between. This lens also works on both full frame and a crop sensor camera like the 70D, 60D, and 80D. I believe so, yeah. The only thing that's gonna happen, because it's an APS-C sensor, it's gonna crop in, and so instead of getting a 50mm, you're gonna get more like a 85mm, I believe, because of the 1.6 times crop sensor. So that's the only downfall. But again, a 50mm turned into 85 is just, that's awesome. That's another lens I think you should have, an 85mm. That's another video I gotta make, so let me know if you wanna see a review of that video. The 50mm just looks gorgeous with everything you shoot. Everything you take will look phenomenal. Those are the reasons why I think you should literally go buy this lens today. It's 300 bucks. Get it used. If it's well taken care of, good condition, you can get them for like 200, 250 bucks. I mean, it's not that bad. For all that you're getting in this tiny little compartment grenade thing by Canon with all the color science, you've already won. So go get it, and I'll catch you later on the next episode.